Let's talk about it. On3's new way too early CFB top 25. Now, I thought they was going to drop this list after the Natty tonight. But a lot of this has to do with returning players. A lot of this has to do with obviously what teams did in the portal, so on and so forth. So let's talk a little bit about it. All right, number one, they have Ohio State. A little bit surprised with this one, but nonetheless, they bring back Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith final season probably in college football. You're bringing one of the top wide receiving weapons in Chris Henry Jr. You're going to lose a lot on your defense. No Arville Reese. No, obviously, Sonny Styles. No Caleb Downs. How do you replace all of that? It's going to be a pretty good question to see. But have done a good job in the portal. And they've also done a pretty good job in recruiting talent to come in. But number one is a little bit high for me. Number two, obviously, the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, the Bulldogs have done a couple nice things in the portal, but they rank currently number 14 according to 247 Sports, in the SEC alone in the portal. Now, again, that ain't the worst thing in the world because Kirby Smart kind of takes a little bit of a dabble take on it. He does go in the portal. He does get guys, but he also likes to develop his talent as well. Their biggest acquisitions, obviously, is Isaiah Kenyon and obviously Khalil Barnes from Clemson. Kenyon comes over from neighborhood Georgia Tech. But nonetheless, I think they're going to probably get another year from Gunnar Stockton, so you feel pretty good there. And you bring back the majority of your running back core as well with some pretty elite receivers that are going to grow and flourish. You do lose Zachariah Branch, but you should still be a formidable team. Texas, to me, you can make the argument they should be number one, right? Texas did a really good job in the portal. They've retooled their whole roster. They brought in, I think, 4 or 5 guys on the offensive line. Arch Manning is going to be in there another year for him. And he finally went and got him a wide receiver one. A wide receiver one in Cam Coleman. Like that's going to be really good for them moving forward. They also retooled the running back room. They flipped Hollywood Smothers. That's huge for them. He's probably one of the best backs that was available outside of Justice Haynes. Then you also look at Relief Brown they brought in. And then, obviously, some guys left, but I think they retooled the offensive line. Defense looks good. Brought in Rasheem Biles. Like, they did what they were supposed to do, man. I think Texas will be really good. Still got Colin Simmons. Still got Grayson Littleton. Got some really good pieces and retooled it with Will Muschamp. Texas really won this offseason, if we're being humbly honest. Now, Notre Dame was very sneaky in the portal. Didn't do nothing too crazy. A couple of good acquisitions. Mylan Graham is going to be a big one. Wide receiver formerly of Ohio State. Didn't play a whole bunch. Should have a pristine role for the Fighting Irish this year. Or next year, I should say. They also landed Quincy Porter, who was also formerly of the Ohio State Buckeyes as well. The big one for them, though, is Jaden Sanders. Now, Indiana's going to be a real interesting team because they're going to lose a lot, right? You lose a lot, just a wrap. The Charlie Beckers, potentially the Amari Cooper Jr.'s, but they brought in some really good talent too, and Mark Cuban's invested in this team, right? They're going to bring in Josh Hoover, who's going to be the quarterback now. Another year for Kirk Cinetti. Can he hit again on that position? It's going to be very key and crucial for him. Turbo Richard is also a really good pickup for the Hoosiers. He comes over from Boston College. He should be able to help him out a lot. And then you look at the prime acquisition formerly of Michigan State and Nick Marsh. That's going to help the receiving core a whole bunch. So Indiana did a good job. I still think even with the portal that's going to open up for them after the Natty, I think they'll still add a couple pieces in there as well. But the Hoos should be in prime position, barring anything unforeseen. Oregon is Oregon. Obviously, getting Dante Moore back for another season is big for you. You bring back, Decoria Moore, some of those pieces. You brought in Dylan Raiola. So you got probably one of the top QB rooms in the country. You got it done. That should help you out a whole bunch. And then, obviously, defensively, you got some young thoroughbreds to lean on, right? Brandon Finney Jr., you've hit the portal. And you landed one of the top safeties in the country in Cole Parrish, which should help out your team a lot moving forward. Now, Texas Tech did a really good job of what, they were supposed to do, landing Brendan Sorsby. Guy that doesn't turn over football, comes over for Cincinnati. Should be a team right back in there. We know they're going to invest heavily in the portal. Don't have the number one class this year, but still has done a pretty good job. Now, the Aggies have retooled and reloaded as well. You look at the defense, they brought in Tawfiq Byard, really good player, formerly of Colorado. That should help them out a ton. They also got Ricky Gibson III, formerly of Tennessee, cornerback, very talented player, should thrive in that system of Mike Elko. And then they brought in Isaiah Horton to help out, obviously, another receiver for Marcel Reed. So that should help them out a whole bunch, help them out a ton. And then they also got Mario Craver back for another year too. Now, my Hurricanes, man, I feel pretty good about what we did in the portal. Got some really good acquisitions. The biggest one we're still waiting to hear from is obviously star quarterback for Duke Blue Devils, Darian Mensah. That will help us out a ton with what we done in the portal. Bringing in guys and having guys that can help fill in. So that should be obviously massive for us moving forward. Now, Oklahoma made some solid moves in the offseason. Got Peyton Joseph, former 4-star. We'll see what he's able to do, if he's able to be formidable on that offensive line for the Sooners. Right, Parker Livingstone, solid wide receiver. Won't say he's a wide receiver one, but he should be a solid receiver for you. Outside boundary, good depth piece for you. You also got Jack Van Dorselaer, who comes over from Tennessee. And then you also look at guys like Atrell Harris as well. So we'll see. John Mateer's still going to have weapons. It's him taking that next step forward for the Sooners in 2026. Michigan is very interesting. Shout out to Kyle Whittingham. I think he's done a good job mastering that roster. You look at getting Bryce Underwood, them coming back, getting guys out of the portal to help obviously solidify the offensive line, helping solidify the running back room. You did lose Justice Haynes to Georgia Tech, but you still have Jordan Marshall, who you re-signed. So some key re-signers for him. And then you flipped Salzie Moore from Utah, which you recruited him at. He's coming to Michigan. So you got another playmaker on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at Michigan, decent job in the portal. They should be competitive in 2026. Now, LSU obviously won the whole portal. They have the number one team, number one class, and they still not done. Like Lane Kiffin's still trying to get people. We know about them, obviously, landing TJ Dottery. They still trying to go get Prince U. He brought in the top quarterback in Sam Leavitt. They got receivers galore. Retool got Jace Johnson. They got guys all over the field, man. So LSU did a really good job in the portal. Now it's just having everything make sense and being able to be a competitive team and hopefully get to CFP playoff. Next is BYU. BYU brings back their quarterback, Brick Bachmeyer, for another year. LJ Martin will still be back, obviously, in 2026. So return a lot of their weapons. So, this is a team that should be back. We know about Sataki, who's done a really good job with their program and team. Should be interesting to see. Penn State, obviously, we know that it was pretty much the mass exodus from Iowa State to Penn State. Rocco Beck is the quarterback. Their head coach, Matt Campbell, is there. They bought a lot of their pieces that they had from Iowa State to Penn State. New year, it's going to be tough to say. I would probably move Penn State a little bit lower because there's just so many unknowns with what they're going to do moving forward. Ole Miss is a team that has clicked in the portal, has brought in some really good guys. Jordan Renard, Johnwell Aguirre, or Aguero, John Tate Cook, formerly of Syracuse, Deuce Knight, Daryl Gill Jr., Jay Crawford, Michael Barrow, Edwin Joseph, right? They've done a really good job in the portal. Number 2 in the SEC in their class. I think they're going to be a very interesting team. Can they get Trinidad Chambers back for one more year and then hand the reins to Deuce Knight? In the ideal situation, that's what it would be. But it remains to be seen for Ole Miss, but they should be competitive again. Now, Utah is interesting. I don't know if I would have ranked them this high. They do have Devon Dampier, but when you lose the head coach, that is very tough to come back from. Obviously, the Utes well-coached team, but will look a little different moving forward. 17, obviously, I can vouch for Alabama, right? They lost so much talent, right? No Jalen Mbakwe. Ty Simpson goes and hits the NFL draft. They're kind of retooling their whole roster, right? They do get some key pieces back, the Dejon Lees, the Xavier Browns, things like that. But at the same time, this team is retooling. And you missed on a couple guys in the portal. You missed on Cam Coleman. You missed on Hollywood Smothers. So, they've hit on some guys too. But new regime, will it be Keelan Russell as QB1? Who's up next for Alabama is the biggest question. Now, if you're Washington, what happens now after the whole debacle of Damon Williams, right? Who tried to hit the portal and go to greater pastures and potentially LSU. Washington didn't allow it, but does that make for a good season for you? Does that help your roster? Does it help your team? Does it help your moxie? I don't know. Now, LSU and obviously the Trojans, very interesting when you look at things. Obviously, them having Lincoln Riley, really, I say not a really good year, but a decent year. Enough for him to keep his job for another year. Can you take the next step forward? Can you win 10 games and get in the CFP playoff? That's some of them biggest questions for USC. Number 6 portal class in the Big Ten for USC. Didn't do nothing too crazy in the portal. I think they're going to depend on a lot of their younger guys when you look at their roster and how it's been tooled. Terrell Anderson and Jontez Williams was some major gets for USC. How will it pan out with another year at the helm with Jada Mayava? Number 20, Tennessee. I think they really believe in Georgia McIntyre. He was throwing the ball, bring back a lot of their receiving core, along with the Tristan Keys who comes in. They did land Ryan Staub out of the portal. Did lose Peyton Lewis to Virginia, but I think they're going to depend on some of the young guys, Deshaun Bishop, some of the young freshmen coming in. Really good recruiting class for 2026. I think will pay dividends for them. And look out for Jaden Perlotti. Now, Iowa's interesting. We know usually they're a very good defensive team. Can the offense finally match the defense in 2026? All right, number 22 is Houston. We know who they have in Keyshawn Henderson. He should be a massive get for them. Biggest thing is, can he bring Houston to new heights in the Big 12? Can he make them competitive? Can he make them elite? We're going to find out. VT, I 100% agree. They should be ranked in this poll. I can't wait to see what James Franklin does. He has retooled and revamped that roster. Strong finish to the 2026 class. And you look at what they got out of the portal. Ethan G, the quarterback. That's going to be a very damn good football team in 2026. And they're going to be a problem in the ACC. Y'all heard it here first. Florida basically got all Georgia Tech players for the most part. Nah, I'm trolling. But did a pretty good job in the portal. New head coach John Summerall. Retooled the roster. We'll see who'll be QB1 starting in the spring, obviously going into the fall. Arizona, Noah Fafita, we know how good he can be. Be interesting to see what they could be able to do this year. There's a couple teams you could say that could be ranked above them, though. But very interesting list. What do y'all think? Did On3 cook, or did they struggle with this one?